Hey everybody, welcome to SoundPure. My name is Paul, and today's quick gear tip is going to be all about what to look for when you're shopping for a new drum throne. Now, thrones may not be the most glamorous piece of gear in your setup, but without a doubt, they're the most important. I mean, the throne is the base from where your comfort, your stability, and just overall ergonomic control behind the kit comes from. So this is one area where you definitely do not want to go cheap, and you want to get yourself into a throne that's going to be comfortable for you to sit and play on. So I'm just going to go through a couple of different categories and factors that go into throne making and what you should look for when you're buying one. So let's go ahead and start from the ground up and talk about the throne base. When you're looking for a throne, you want to make sure that you get something that's got a nice, sturdy base, preferably that's double braced, something that's going to be able to support your weight comfortably and distribute it to the ground. You don't want to get a throne where you're sitting on it and you're going to feel yourself rocking back and forth because you don't have a stable base. This might lead to you getting a throne that's a little bit bulkier and might add some weight to your hardware bag, but like I said, this is the one area where everything else flows. All your comfort and your ability to play your drums comfortably will come from. So you don't want to get something that's going to be making you feel unstable. Something else to consider when you're looking for a bass is going to be how the height of the throne adjusts. Really the two height adjustment systems that I like are going to be spindle-based, and then there's also hydraulic thrones. With a spindle-based throne, it's kind of like a piano stool where you set it to a certain height and you can spin the top of the throne and it'll go up and down. Hydraulic thrones, on the other hand, are going to be kind of like office chairs where you pull a lever and the hydraulic system inside the throne actually causes the seat to move up and down. This will let you adjust your throne a little bit more quickly, but in my experience, hydraulic thrones sometimes feel a little bit too bouncy, so I prefer not to use them, but again, it's all a matter of personal comfort. So you might feel like you'd like a hydraulic throne more than a spindle-based throne. There are some thrones that do adjust their height by a wing nut and a few different slots. I don't like these because it limits the amount of fine-tuning you can adjust your height to, and also these mechanisms tend to wear out pretty quickly just from the stress of having a person sit on them over time. So you're definitely going to want to avoid a throne with that kind of height adjustment. So moving up from the base, another factor you want to look at when you're getting a throne is going to be the material and softness of the seat. There's a lot of thrones, cheaper thrones out there are going to be made of pretty cheap material. It's basically going to feel like a thin layer of plush foam or something over top of a few layers of cardboard, and you're definitely going to feel it when you sit on it for 3 hours a night. When you're looking for a throne, you want something that's going to be nice and plush and comforting, that's going to give you a lot of support, but you don't want it to be too soft to where you're going to be sinking into it. Think kind of like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. You want something that's right in the middle, that's going to feel nice and firm and sturdy, that's going to give you good back support, but you also want it to be soft enough to where it's not going to make your backside fall asleep during a 3-hour gig. So one more factor to consider when you're looking for thrones, it has to do with the tops again, the seats. You want to think about what kind of shape you want your seat to be. Do you want a round throne or do you want a motorcycle style throne? Round thrones, they tend to be not quite as bulky as motorcycle style thrones. They're good for, all-purpose playing. If you're just gigging out a few nights a week for not too many hours on end, they get the job done. I personally use a round throne and it does just fine for me. I also don't have the biggest frame. We tend to see a lot of our customers who have bigger frames and are a little bit heavier. They tend to steer more towards the motorcycle style thrones because it provides a slightly wider seat, and also just the shape tends to cushion and pad your backside more when you're sitting on it, especially because it's shaped like a motorcycle throne or a bicycle throne. You've got the notch here that tends to be a little bit more ergonomic feeling in the legs. A lot of guys that like playing double bass tend to gravitate more towards the motorcycle style thrones because they seem to think that it gives you a little bit more stability when you're playing those fast double bass runs. And in my experience, they do give you a little bit more stability, but then again, I'm not that big of a player, so I can get away with using a round throne just fine. And really the upshot of all this is that there's really no hard and fast rule to adhere to when you're shopping for a throne. You just want to make sure you're getting something that you're going to be comfortable playing on for 3 hours a night, depending on what your gigging situation is. So take these guidelines with a little bit of a grain of salt, just sort of use them to guide you towards an informed decision. And of course, if you have any questions, give us a call, send us an email. We'll be happy to have a conversation with you about what you should look for when you're buying a throne. Hope this helps, guys, and stay tuned for the next gear tip. Thanks.